From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon and welcome to your MTN Noon News for this Thursday. I'm Hailey, Monaco. We begin with continuing coverage in Minneapolis. The FBI still investigating the deadly shooting at a Catholic school in Minneapolis as an act of domestic terrorism and a hate crime. It happened when a gunman opened fire during Mass at a church that is on the same grounds of the school. Police say the suspect fired dozens of rounds through church windows. 2 children, aged 8 and 10, were fatally shot while they sat in the church pews. 14 children and 3 adults were also wounded, but are expected to survive. The shooter was identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman, a former student at the school who had no criminal history. Investigators say Westman had posted video manifesto that has since been taken down, but have not said what a motive may have been. Now, the bishop of the Great Falls Billings Catholic Archdiocese is also reflecting on the shooting in Minnesota. He shared some of his thoughts on social media, saying, quote, "In moments like these, prayer must lead us to action. Let us be agents of healing, consoling the grieving, supporting the wounded, and advocating for a safer world where all people, especially children, can learn, worship, and grow without fear." You can read the bishop's full reflection right now on our website. Now, the president of the Billings Teachers Union says educators are no longer just thinking about the possibility of a school shooting. They're preparing for it. Lance Edwards says schools are partnering with a parent advisory committee, all with one goal: stopping a threat before it starts.
If you look at what our parent safety committee has done and what they've tried to recommend, the idea of these response teams that are put in place, I think the identification of threats before they become threats is the most important thing a community can do.
News of another mass shooting is heartache for parents and students who are ready to get back into the classroom here in Montana. Our Charlie Kleps takes a look at some of the steps local schools are taking to make sure students are safe.
In the wake of another tragedy,
it's terrible, obviously.
All eyes have been turned to Minnesota.
What those teachers and those parents and those kids must all be going through, thinking about them.
And with incidents like this happening all too often, local schools have already been taking steps to make themselves more secure.
You try and take something from the situations, you try and learn something new.
At Billings Central, Principal Nolan Trafton is in the process of upgrading these gates to better control who comes into the building.
Those will eventually be secured, and you will need to be buzzed in those gates.
And that's not the only change. Security cameras are being installed as well
to address some of the blind spots and some more security at entrances, especially our main entrance.
At Huntley Project, it's a similar story.
We have a night lock in every single classroom.
K-4 Principal Ben Lambert says every single classroom has been installed with these night locks, following approved legislation last year.
There was some fire code issues for a while there with having them. We worked our way through that.
When in place, Lambert says intruders would essentially need a battering ram to open any doors.
So we also have what's called the E3 app on every staff member's phone.
The staff at Huntley is also equipped digitally. This app can sound the alarm at any time and even allows for attendance to be taken so all kids are accounted for.
It allows us to communicate quickly and easily without having to try and use phones or intercoms and all the other things that might be in place.
Just earlier this month, Billings schools officials attended a safety summit, and some local churches participated in a safety event as well. All efforts being made statewide to avoid any disasters coming closer to home.
It's always a tough thing to see these situations happen, and then making sure that we take that and make ourselves better and be more prepared for our kids.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Let's start with a live shot from Missoula, where you've been dealing with fog and obviously some rain to go along with it as well. Only at 62 degrees, humidity up to 90%. It's actually been a little bit higher off and on throughout the day. Out towards Helena, the clouds and the showers also with the high humidity, but light winds, and there's not much wind above the surface as well. So that means slow moving storms are putting down more rainfall. 63 for you in Bozeman. Get a little break from the showers for now, but as we take a look at the map, Bozeman so so far. You've been real close to about 1/3 of an inch since that rain started. Butte, Helena picking up some accumulations as well. Not as much into the eastern plains, but it's shifting that way. Details on the forecast coming up.
4 people are dead after a crash on Highway 93 north of St. Ignatius Wednesday evening. Lake County Sheriff Don Bell says the crash happened just after 5:30 in the Post Creek Hill area. The crash involved an RV carrying 10 people and a passenger car. All 4 people in the car were killed. Everyone in the RV survived, though some were injured. Traffic was diverted for more than 3 hours. The Montana Highway Patrol is investigating the details surrounding the crash. The names of people killed have not been released. The controversy engulfing the elected body that regulates utilities in Montana is heating up as one member of the Public Service Commission has signed a letter asking the governor to temporarily remove the commission's chair, Brad Molnar of Laurel. MTN senior political reporter Jonathan Ambarian breaks down the latest turn in this ongoing issue.
Last month, Brad Molnar, president of the Montana Public Service Commission, announced to reporters that he was being investigated over allegations of unprofessional conduct. Now the commission's vice president has called for Molnar to be suspended while that investigation continues. The documents behind this came to light this week when an attorney representing Molnar posted them on social media. In a letter to Governor Greg Gianforte, PSC Vice President Jennifer Fielder said, quote, Commissioner Molnar has been using his high-level position in a multitude of ways to thwart the investigation and stop it from reaching its conclusion. She said leaders had a responsibility to prevent retaliation and harassment, and that, quote, as a result of Commissioner Molnar's own actions, it has become abundantly clear that this is not possible with his presence in the workplace. Fielder confirmed to me that she had signed a letter on behalf of the PSC's response team, which handles internal complaints. But she declined to comment further, saying the letter speaks for itself. Molnar, who has called the entire investigation improper and refused to cooperate, told me suspending him would be overturning an election and an attack on his rights.
I am definitely being treated differently than any other commissioner, and that's all the way down the line.
Molnar's attorney released a response to the governor's office, calling Fielder's request unlawful and saying, quote, her complaint fails every legal standard Montana courts have established for gubernatorial suspensions of elected officials. Throughout this process, Molnar has argued that he is being targeted for political reasons, including his opinion that the commission should be tougher on large utilities.
Everything is to silence me from talking about facts. I am fighting to talk about facts.
Fielder's letter says the request for a suspension is in no way based on Molnar's policy decisions or the original allegations, but on the need to complete the investigation without interference. I reached out to Gianforte's office to ask about the complaint. A spokesperson said, quote, the governor's office is committed to an impartial review of any complaints made, and that they've committed to due process as the matter moves forward. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
As students head back to campus at MSU, research shows it's also the time of year when sexual assaults are more likely to happen. MTN's Megan Elaine is on campus with a look at the resources available to students.
School is back in session at MSU. Thousands of students are back in the classroom and back in the social scene.
Beginning of the school year is going to be our busiest time.
I sat down with Title IX and Campus Civil Rights Director Kylie Breslin. She says from the first day of school until Thanksgiving break,
we expect to receive about 50% of our reports.
This time frame is known nationwide as the red zone, a high-risk period for sexual assaults on college campuses.
And so we know students returning to school, being excited to re-engage with their community. We see a lot of times risky behavior that can result in harm to our community members.
And the risk is real. On Tuesday, a 19-year-old MSU student was arrested. According to court documents, he raped and strangled another student after an off-campus party. The victim was sober. Breslin says support is available on or off campus.
It doesn't matter to us whether the harm occurred on campus or off campus. We're still going to support our community members because we know that things that happen off campus can have an on-campus impact.
That support comes in many forms: investigators, case managers, prevention educators, and peer advocates.
And I'm kind of like that little route to get connected to Camp Civil Rights for that community.
Student advocate Shell hands out consent stickers and makes sure her sorority sisters know where to turn for help. Libby Schneider says hearing it from a peer breaks down walls.
Other students, you're able to talk through it with them.
The advocates acknowledge the red zone is a difficult time.
There's also so many other things going on as classes are just starting. A lot of people are starting new jobs. And a lot of times I feel like going to a place like this could be intimidating, especially if you don't even know what type of support you need.
Which is exactly why the advocates gently lead survivors along what Shell calls a nonlinear healing journey.
Change starts with you. And so I think if you want to see a change, be the change.
Want to be a part of that change? Visit our website. And if you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, help is available at 1-800-656-4673. In Bozeman, Megan Elaine, MTN News.